everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thursday Thoughts DOdaily. Your questions answered live. It's Des here, of course. Looking forward as ever to getting stuck into the questions, offering my opinions. A few different ones today. Really appreciate getting those. And of course, the feedback to the Throwback Question last week, where I was looking for events over the next couple of months, looking for inspiration of what ones to take my training on to. Got lots of those, lots of different sources as well, particularly through Twitter. So that's nice. I'll post those up in a moment. But if you want to get involved, please do add your comments. Get in touch through any of the social media, scrolling across the bottom of the screen. And of course, please give the episode a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing. If you're new to the channel, it'd be absolutely amazing if you can subscribe. Really chuffed at the moment. I've had another influx of subscribers, getting up towards that 250 mark. Of course, at the start of the year, I set myself a target of trying to reach 500. One of my many targets. I like to set myself through this, whether it's DOdaily or running or eating challenges or whatever it is. I always like to set myself challenges, as regular viewers will know. And I'm looking to get 500 this year, trying to push myself that extra bit. You know, it's been a slow burner to date, but managed to pick up 50 or so since the start of the year. So really pleased with that. But the more that subscribe, of course, the more that watch and the thing gets spread around the algorithms of YouTube, and more people will get to see what's going on. Hopefully you can help me with that. If you can, I'll be eternally grateful for the support, as I am to all those that tune in regular and get involved. Like I say, any comments to any of the questions, anything that I say, anything that I pose, put out there to you guys, you know, if you're watching live, drop it in the comments. I'll try and get it on, try and interact. If you're watching it after, of course, then just drop it in the comments and I'll look to respond that way. Like I say, really, really appreciate it. Thursday's all about sort of my opinions, my thoughts, answering what's on your mind, you know, trying to offer a bit of advice and information from the limited experience I've got. Not put myself down, but, you know, I've been doing this for a while now, and I have got some experience in sort of what I talk about. I like to think of myself as someone that's really passionate about running. I'm really passionate about mental health. Over the last couple of weeks, those two subjects in particular I've spoken about at length. 2 weeks ago, it was Time to Talk Day. And last week, just because of the questions I received, I spoke a lot about running. And those two subjects are something that really sort of drive the channel. Whilst it's not just about that, it's about just being positive, enthusiastic, you know, and looking forward to things and making the most of the things we enjoy as much as anything, whatever it is for you. Try and make it relatable into every situation and to different experiences. So that's what the channel's all about. Without any sort of further ado, I'll crack on. Like I say, last week's Throwback Question, what event would you suggest over the next few months? Of course, the reason I asked this is because I have set myself a lot of running targets. I'm starting to pick up on the training. Whilst there's just a little bit of a niggle there, I've managed to get in a lot more activity this week, building on last week again. So I'm really, really pleased with it. Just finished a really tough session, one of my own really tough sessions. 30 hill repeats plus 30 sprints, almost like a circuit session. I said to the guys after, why do you keep coming back? You know, it was so hard. I've not been able to take part in every session just recently. It's a DOdaily coaching session in person here in Nottingham, and it's been difficult to take part because of my own personal issues with illness and injury. But today I took part in that, feeling fantastic because of it. And that's really sort of picked me up. As the week's gone on this week, I spoke on Monday about sort of admitting my love for certain things and certain situations, you know, and when you do that, it just makes you happier, you know. It's almost like you're laying it all out there. We can be a bit nervous about that sometimes, can't we? So for me, it was just about sort of picking up some momentum, and that's what I've done. The activity, I absolutely love running, you know. I love getting out there for my walks and doing whatever I need to do, and it just gets me in the right frame of mind. So all that in mind, it makes me want to sort of build on an event I did a couple of weeks ago, the Skegness 10K, which I was particularly pleased with. I wasn't expecting much in all reality, and I got a better result than I was expecting. So it was really pleasing. So I thought what I'd do is pose the question, like I say, from a running sort of angle, what events are coming up, which could give me some inspiration. I've not looked at too many. I didn't think I'd be sort of thinking too much about events at this point, but having done that 10k at Skegness and got so much from it with the guys, I just want to do it again. You know, why not? This is what makes us tick. This is what keeps us going. Or if it is what makes you tick and keep going, then this part will be for you. On Twitter, Running I Do said the Retford Half Marathon on the 6th of March. Not too far away from where I live, so that's definitely a consideration. Got a couple of things on that weekend, but definitely a consideration. We've done a couple, myself and Kay, the Worksop Half Marathon up there, you know, and it's an area we know quite a lot. We've got some relatives that live pretty close as well, so it's a definite consideration. Thanks for the suggestion. Another one from Twitter at Sharon Street said the Burley 7 mile on the 13th of March. This one's really grabbed me. I don't know too much about it. It's coming pretty late, and I want to look at it. But 7 miles is one of those kind of unique race distances, what not many people do. So I'd definitely love to give that a try. And of course, it's building gradually on the 10k as well, isn't it? It's not trying to do too much too soon. Whilst half marathons aren't completely out of the question, you know, I don't think I'm quite ready for those yet. So a 7 mile would naturally be the next step up from a 10k, which is just over 6. I'd love to sort of check that out and see what it's all about. Thanks for the suggestion, Sharon. Simon, a do runner, said the Wolverhampton 10k. Keep seeing this pop up on my social media. I think they want me to do it, and now Simon's mentioned it. It's almost like I'm destined to. It's a football stadium finish. Anybody who watches Do Daily knows how much I love my football. Whilst Wolves aren't my team, of course, it's the mighty Reds of the Forest persuasion. It's a stadium finish. Stadium finishes are always pretty unique and pretty special. It's a new event, I believe, from what I have read about it, finishing inside Molyneux Stadium, which is a nice place these days. A bit different than match day. Can be a bit intimidating. I'm sure it's not the same on a 10k event. I'm sure there's plenty of support from the locals. So again, something I'll definitely look up and check out. It's something that's been playing on my mind for a few weeks. Tiger Spreadsheets, again through Twitter, says check out the Beaver Half Marathon. Again, not too far from where I am. I did say anything when I posed the question, anything sort of local to the East Midlands, I'll be looking at. Beaver Half Marathon was actually supposed to be there doing the park run last weekend and didn't get there. So I've got to sort of get back up there and do that. Of course, do my park run vlog, which I missed out on this week. But another consideration, I've actually done a 24-hour event at Beaver. So if it's any of that route, I'm going to steer well clear. Not really. It's a tough route, tough course, hilly. And from what I was told, the guys that went to Beaver Park Run, that's particularly hilly as well. But again, it's another one I'll definitely look up. And if it works into my calendar and schedule, then it's a definite possibility. So Evans said Sherwood 10k or on the 20th of March, or again the Beaver Half on the 10th of April. Now I've seen the date there, the 10th of April. That seems like a good date to work for. I'm not quite sure of my plans on that weekend, but it seems like a good date to start thinking about perhaps my first half marathon, you know, looking to build up ultimately for my London Marathon attempt in October. And I've just not done the miles. Whilst over the previous sort of 3-4 years when I've done marathons, I've always kind of kept high mileage. Just not been doing them for the last sort of 7 or 8 months. So again, it just gives me that time. So now I've seen that date, Beaver could be a possibility. And it'll be a tough one, like I mentioned, but there's no problem because if I'm almost using these as race events, and you can't get too much experience doing races, you know, especially when you haven't done them for a while, like I haven't, and I've definitely not done them to a plan. I've plodded around a couple when I've really had to take my time, you know. You can't get enough of the experience, so I just need to get back in and almost use it as a training run, you know. But see where I can sort of push on and how much I've got in me and that kind of thing. The Sherwood 10K, anything around I believe that's Sherwood Pines. Anything around there is really, really amazing. Running through the trees in a beautiful part of the world, Robin Hood country. Anybody who watches DOdaily knows how much I visit Robin Hood country, Sherwood Forest. I did the Robin Hood Way walk, 112 miles. I'll post that on a card so you can see that, where I walked 112 miles every Friday for so on. So again, another part of the world, amazing. At any time to do your activity, it's absolutely brilliant up there. So thanks for that suggestion. And Callum sent me a really nice email this week saying he watches, he's a fan of DOdaily, and he's been watching what's doing. He loves the Part 1 vlogs, which is brilliant. Somebody enjoys them. Really sort of enjoy doing them myself. A bit disappointed I didn't get out and do one, but I've got one planned this week. Hopefully it will go ahead. Of course, there's issues out there right now with storms, Eunice, and I can't remember what the one called, Derek or someone. Someone tell me in the comments. I can't remember. But hopefully I'll get out and do another vlog. But he says his suggestions were, well, he basically says I'm doing 2 in Derbyshire next month, 10 miles at Ashbourne and 10K event at Bakewell. And the Bakewell in particular, the Bakewell event was one definitely sort of consider, definitely look at. Again, I believe it's on a Part 1 route. I've done the Monsell Trail there where you run out and back. This is a run out and back as well. So 3 miles out, 3 miles back. Puts me off a little bit, if I'm honest, but I'd love to get up there and do it, if it's possible. Again, it's another 10K, isn't it? It's kind of building on what I've done. And whilst it might be tough mentally, again, it's that experience thing. It's just experiencing different things on the day, preparing in different weathers, in different circumstances. And it all goes to that preparation for the big events, the ones you really want to get right. And for me, like I say, that's later on in the year in London. So hopefully I can get to a few of those. That's absolutely brilliant. What a response to the throwback question. I love posing that. It's just, it's a bit of a mix of me trying to find inspiration to sort of talk about different things, find ideas for events like this week, or just to inspire others to think what they're doing, perhaps taking something on board. 1 or 2 of those I could turn into do running events, get the running club going, and that's when we really enjoy it. Of course I enjoy events on my own, and occasionally I love to sort of nip off on my own and just do one or with Kate, just to take the pressure off it. There's a lot of organising sometimes, and I love being around people, but it's nice to get away. But then it's also great to do big group events, because that's what I'm all about. The DOdaily community, the Do Running Club here in Nottingham. It's just about sort of enjoying what we do and just doing what we love. I started the week like that, didn't I? I've mentioned it already. It's just about sort of taking that on. So thanks for all those responses again, guys. That's brilliant. Sometimes it's hard to get a response out of people. When you ask a question, they're a bit nervous about getting the answer wrong. There's no wrong answers. On these throwbacks every week, there's absolutely no wrong answers. It's just a case of just letting me know what you think. I say what I think. I don't always get it right. I know I don't. And again, people might say, don't sort of put yourself down. I'm really not. The whole point of this is not to be too technical, not to be too scientific. Try not to be clever and patronising. Of course, it's a one-way thing. It's me talking. It's me passing on information. But that doesn't mean we can't interact, like I say. So if you've got any further ideas, please drop it in the comments, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching later on. But once again, thank you for the feedback. Moving on to this week's questions. Like I said at the start, slightly different in some ways. The last couple of weeks have picked up themes, but this week, just a little bit different. And this is great because I always like questions that make me think, that I can almost get quite deep with. And Claire's posted a question here. I have a really busy work and home schedule, so I struggle to make time for things I want to do. How do you fit it all in? Well, of course, on Tuesday training, I was talking about how my Tuesdays have kind of exploded into probably one of my busiest days of the week. I get up early and do a coaching session. I go to work. I've often got people visiting me in the afternoon, then I've got meetings and another running club, and then I often speak on other YouTube channels. And that's fine. I'm not complaining. That's brilliant. That's what keeps me going. And I was just talking on Tuesday that we have to keep doing what we want to do, don't we? And ultimately, we will find the time to do exactly what we want to do. If you've got a real passion, if you care about it, you'll find time. It's like finding time for people as well. I don't want to be harsh, but if people ask you to do something and you're not that bothered, you won't find the time. You'll make an excuse. You'll make yourself busy. The reality is, if you want to do something, if you want to see someone, if you want to achieve something, you will do it. And I want to sort of get on almost in some of the things I do. Still, this whole YouTube thing still a steep learning curve for me. So I was just talking on after all that busy day, somebody had invited me on a YouTube channel and I could have easily said no. But ultimately, I got another 10 followers from being on that YouTube channel. And it's that kind of thing. It's realizing why you do it, what you want to do it for. I understand the whole sort of busy work at an own schedule. That sometimes that's necessary, but we have to find time, don't we? On a Wednesday, I always talk about almost purposely checking in. Wednesday workout and the motivation behind that sort of slogan I use for these different daily motivations is to check in and see where we're at. Take some activity, take 10 minutes, busy work, take your lunch break to get a walk in and eat your sandwich. Don't worry about reading the paper. Don't worry about talking to your colleague or whatever. Just do something for yourself. If you feel you need to do something, if you can get a run in, if you're working from home at the moment and that's the only place you can get a run in, go and do it. Whilst I love people here in Nottingham to come to the running club, and we do a running club on a Wednesday. It's absolutely brilliant. It's more important for people to do what they want to do. If they can find time to get to the running club, great, because you can mix with like-minded people who have probably got busy lives as well. So it's important just to do what you want to do and make sure you find that time. Sometimes having a busy work and life balance, can be counterproductive, and that's something I've learned a lot through doing DOdaily. And again, just the way I structure my week on a Monday, it'd be easy for me to sort of set about everything I do. I have to get up, I have to work like everybody else, but I always make sure I get in a walk on Monday afternoon, or if I haven't, I don't feel set up for the week. And it becomes counterproductive if I haven't. Yes, I have to take time. I have to forget about 1 or 2 jobs. I have to forget about what other people expect of me, because I need now to get out and do that. It gives me that sort of feeling that I've attacked the week well, that I'm doing what I need to do. And that all sort of comes back to self-care as well, doesn't it? I was speaking yesterday about how self-care, it starts with number one. Obviously, it's self-care, but I'm somebody who likes to give out. Lots of people like to support and encourage others, but you can only do that when you're looking after yourself. And like I say, it doesn't have to become counterproductive. If you're taking 5 or 10 minutes or half an hour to go for a run at lunchtime, or you're just putting everything down for 15 minutes, all that will come back to you later on. You might become a little bit more productive, and it can help in that way, because I always say, especially with activity, it's never a bad thing, is it? It can't make you feel worse. It literally can't make you feel worse. I don't care what anybody says. We can have bad runs, we can go out and get wet, and someone can upset us here and there, but it can never make us feel worse. Sometimes it might not make you feel better, but at least you're giving yourself a chance. And that's what I strongly believe, that physical health directly improves mental health. I'm a big advocate of that. I won't budge from that opinion. That's my purpose through DOdaily, my purpose in life almost. So it's so important to take that time back and learn to say no sometimes. Again, I'm the biggest sort of, there'll be people screaming at the screen saying, yeah, whatever. I'm the biggest culprit for this. But I learn a lesson afterwards. I learn a lesson that when I've not sort of taken that Monday, for example, I'm really, really struggling to get stuck into everything else I need to do. And it can throw me completely off. And then it can affect my mood. I've already spoke about today how over the last couple of weeks, the running is just helping me so much. It is my sort of medicine. It's my go-to. It's absolutely brilliant. When I'm doing it, I know I'm much more productive. I'm better, just feeling better. I'm more articulate through DOdaily, and it just helps me sort of work through everything I need to do. Just want to say good evening to Mark. Thanks for looking in. Really appreciate you posting your comments there. But just sort of finishing on that question, question one there. It's just so important to do what you need to do, isn't it? Find ways to make it happen for you. And if it really doesn't need to happen, don't do it. Sometimes that means being a little bit cruel, but you have to be cruel to be kind, don't you? And it's not cruel. It might be harsh, but the saying is you have to be cruel to be kind. And like I say, it's something I'm learning more and more all the time. I always say it, and I'm not sort of putting a negative slant on this because I really don't want to. People sort of question me when I go and do my own things. But what can we say to that? If you don't do your own things, you get half the people saying to you, you're too kind, you give too much for everybody else. And then when you do your own things, people throw it back in your face. I read a comment today, and I've been it's been going through my mind ever since I read it. A friend had wrote on their Facebook something about, if you look for bad in something, you're always going to find bad. They was talking about a person in particular, but if you're looking for bad in a situation, you're going to find bad ultimately, aren't you? Because you're waiting for the worst thing to happen. And it's the same with people. If you're looking for bad in people, if you're looking for difficult situations, difficult relationships to develop, or you're waiting for that, it's going to happen ultimately. And then when it happens, everything's going to blow up. If you're being positive about what you're doing, if you know what you're going to do next, if you've got a plan and you're prepared, like I'm saying with Mondays, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what, because anything can be sort of pieced in around it. And that's my point. You've got to do what you want to do. And believe me, once you start doing that, everything falls into place. And that's how I feel it works for me. If people doubt, then there's not much I can do about it, is there? Great question. Like I said, I love those, and I really did get stuck into that, I believe. Hopefully it sort of made sense and somebody took something from it. If you've got anything to add, of course, drop it in the comments. And like I say, please subscribe. Another reminder, if you're new to the channel, that'd be absolutely brilliant. 5 more for 250, halfway to 300. That's probably the quickest 50 followers I've ever got. I think the first 50 took about a year and a half, but ticking along nicely now. So like I say, do subscribe if you haven't, and please give the episode a thumbs up if you haven't so far. It takes 2 seconds, just down there somewhere, and again, it'll just get the channel sort of moving around the murky world of YouTube, but through the algorithms. So thanks for that question again, Claire. Question 2, quite topical, isn't it? Do you think you'll manage a run in the Storms this weekend? Well, I just mentioned I've just been out for one, and the Storms hadn't really picked up. It wasn't the best conditions. A bit blowy, but you wouldn't call it a storm if there was nothing lingering. So, in terms of this question, I'm hoping to get out for a run. Tomorrow I'm going to have a day off. Really pleased with the fact I've now run for 3 days in a row. Probably something I've not done for quite a while. One of my real aims was to sort of take part in every session I put on. And I know that sounds bizarre because there was a time when that was never, but because of all the reasons I've discussed so many times, I've not been able to. So one of my targets is almost to have a day off on Monday and Wednesday for the time being, till I really get into that training. And then sort of run my sessions during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I do sessions on a Sunday and, of course, parkrun on a Saturday, which I do the vlog for. So I'll be hoping to do a vlog from a parkrun on the South Coast. That, in the Storm, sounds pretty unlikely right now. Lots of parkruns are cancelling. So I'm just going to have to see, aren't I? The South Coast are apparently going to get the worst of it as well. I'm actually going to Bournemouth tomorrow. hoping to see a football match, which is also in jeopardy because of the weather. Never known it sort of things like this to happen so far in advance of the storm actually is. So it must be quite a big one coming. So I'm open to get out there on Saturday. Hopefully that the worst of it is passed over. What I will say, sort of extending on this question, if anybody is thinking of running, please be careful. Please take it easy. It's not always advisable, but my biggest advice with it was do it if you feel comfortable with it. I think lots of people have asked me in the past that should they go out and run in bad conditions. I'm a massive advocate of running in the rain. I love it. Skin's waterproof is one of my cliched sayings that people have heard so many times. It won't kill you, the rain. The wind is a completely different thing, isn't it? I remember when I used to play football, I enjoyed playing in all conditions: snow, wind, snow, rain, fog. When it was warm, of course, it was a different game. But I hated the wind. Of course, that affected the football because of the ball blowing everywhere. And when you're not very good, it makes it even more tricky. But running as well is really difficult in the wind. I find it extremely difficult. So what I'd say is, I know people will go out and run. That's why I'm kind of advising you've got to do what you feel comfortable with. If I've got to give some advice, I'd say stick away from the woodlands areas, where with tree branches might be falling and loose and things blowing about. Stick to sort of areas where it's likely that those kind of things aren't going to happen. But of course, in these conditions, it's difficult, isn't it? You don't know. It's unpredictable. The thing about the rain and the snow, you kind of know what's coming. The wind, you never know how bad it's going to be. So just be careful, guys. If I can get to a park run, if it's safe to do it, I'll be out there. I say that about the actual part on itself, the vlog, that might be near on impossible if the back end of the storm's still sort of lingering around. I might be really, really struggling at that point. But I'll give it my best shot, and it should make for interesting viewing on Wednesday. I'm still getting used to running and vlogging at the same time. Check out the park run playlist, the park run vlogs. It's been 4 already. It's probably no more than half an hour's worth of viewing, but they're absolutely brilliant. Great feedback from those. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, please check those out. They're brilliant. I'll post that on as well so you can see that. But check them out. Check out what I'll be doing. Check out the vlog next Wednesday. If I do get out for a run in Bournemouth, I'm hoping both those events aren't cancelled, because then that'll be a completely wasted trip, and something I'm really looking forward to. Dawn's popped in with a comment there saying, I'll manage to run this weekend. I'll make sure the wind is behind me, though. Of course, that would be an added benefit, especially if you're timing yourself. You might get a PB. But no, seriously, like I say, just make sure you're safe, and stick to areas where loose objects aren't going to fly in front of you. We were joking before the running club last night about it was bin day here in Nottingham, where all the wheelie bins were laid out and flying wheelie bins up the street. There was a couple when we ran past that weren't where they should be. So again, like I say, just be careful. Just take it easy. And if you don't have to do it, if you need a rest day, if you've been finding that excuse to have a rest day, now's probably the time to take it, isn't it? For me, tomorrow it'll be more about travelling and hopefully going to that football match tomorrow night. So that gives me opportunity to rest and not sort of put myself in any kind of danger whatsoever. Again, weigh it up, risk assess your run, make your own decision and go with it. And that's all I can say, but please stay as safe as you possibly can. So thanks for that question. Any further input to that, that'd be absolutely brilliant. And they're the question today. I just thought I'd get stuck into both of those. One sort of related into what I've said this week, and how I've spoke about what I did on Tuesday and fitting everything in, and then the one sort of topical about the weather. Can kind of hear the wind picking up now as it is. Lots of noise outside. But moving on, of course, we have the throwback question. What I'm putting out there this week is, what is your least favourite condition to run in? I've just mentioned there that I don't mind any of them, apart from the wind. It's the wind that really drives me insane. Running's not easy, is it? Activity's not easy. Whether that says run, whether it's run, walk, just being outside. What is your least favourite weather condition? If you just drop it in, short, very short, couple of words on why, I'd love to read those back. And again, it just get people thinking, just get some input, and see how people approach things differently. Again, that's all it's about, isn't it? No wrong answers. It's just trying to understand how people sort of see these things. So I thought that was a great one to go with this week. What's your least favourite condition to get outside in? Mine is definitely the wind. Like I say, I was getting to it's hard enough anyway sometimes running, isn't it? But when you're running down the River Trent and it feels like there's a 200 mile an hour wind in your face, it's not very nice. Thankfully, on the session tonight where we was doing the hills, it actually felt like it was behind us a little bit, and just so when it is behind you, you don't normally feel it, but just that psychological knowledge of not having it in your face, I think helped me. But yeah, any sort of feedback on that would be absolutely amazing. Of course, tune into all the episodes throughout the week. Check back on the week so far. I've gone over some of them. If you watch them, it might make sense. And again, please subscribe. Please give them a thumbs up. I'm really, really working hard at this and trying to make it happen. Do a lot on other sort of YouTube channels talking about my other passion, football. Not got my own football channel, but like to go on others. And it's all helping sort of generate interest and sort of spread the word about what DOdaily is all about and what I'm about. So if anybody can help in that sense, that would be absolutely amazing. Of course, if you've got any questions for next week, running related, park run related, weather related, a personal question like the first one there from Claire, we're just sort of trying to understand their own situation a little bit better. I always talk about my experiences. I don't try to bring anyone else into it. If you want to be anonymous, that's absolutely fine. I get quite deep sometimes, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm quite proud of myself when I do it even, so it's just something that gives me a platform to get things off my chest, and potentially help one or two people, and just change perspective a little bit. That's what I'm looking to do all the time. I mentioned that comment from today, when it says what I said, where it said, you'll always find bad in something or someone, and again, it just makes me think, it makes me linger, it lingers in my mind and makes me think about all the sort of reasons someone said that, and it's important, isn't it? Because that's how we learn, that's how we take things forward. And we don't know it until we see it, until we listen to it. So hopefully I can just pass one or two things on. But definitely get your questions in. Email des@dorunning.org.uk, just like Callum did. Thanks for that feedback again. That was absolutely brilliant. And of course, use those links at the bottom of the screen. Follow me on those. Follow me on Strava, and on my personal accounts, Des Oldham across all of them. I'll try just to share positive things, whichever one it is. Occasionally, like anyone, I'll have a moan, but that's life, isn't it? That's real. That's just me being me. I'm not trying to sort of hide anything. And then, of course, the next session is Wake Up to Walk, which could be interesting because, again, that might be right in the middle of the storm. And usually at the moment, I get round by the Trent because I'm battling against time. I've got a little bit more time in the morning, so I'll have a little bit more daylight to work with. But like I say, just when it feels like I have got a bit of time because I haven't got work to go to because of my travels tomorrow, setting off a little bit later than I would to go to work, the storm hits. So it's going to be a bit tricky. I'll give it my best shot. If it don't happen, out on my walk, which I will go out for, I'll be around the river, probably get my head blown off. But it'll work for all the reasons I do wake up to walk. It'll freshen me up. It'll give me a chance to take some time. Chance to look forward to the weekend, reflect at what I've done. Mull over everything I've said here and throughout the week. And again, it's just that chance to sort of sign everything off, realise that I say it for a reason. I'm doing it for a reason. I'm encouraging for a reason. I'm positive for a reason, and take it forward into the weekend and next week after that. If it doesn't work outside, I'll probably be sat here telling you what a nightmare I've had and how difficult it's been. But nonetheless, I'll find a positive way of doing that. That's what it's got to be, isn't it? Looking forward to sort of getting on to the Forest match. One more comment there from Mark. Top man, Forest to win tomorrow. Absolutely, that'll make it. everybody will forget about the wind. Everybody will forget about the negative stuff when that happens. If that happens, if that happens, I'm confident myself. But it'll be the perfect start to the weekend, and it's me doing what I love again. I try not to bring the football into it too much, but there's a lot of followers now through those football channels I've been on, and it is something I've got a real passion for, and I can still be positive about it. I've been negative about it in the past, and I've realised that it doesn't work like that, does it? If you want to really enjoy it, you've got to be positive, regardless of the situation. Still, even when it's going bad, I still get to see mates, still get to go for a drink, still get to sort of meet new people. And that's what life's all about, isn't it? If you haven't got that, when you haven't got that, and I've been there, it's not a nice place to be. So finishing on a positive, hope you've enjoyed the episode again. Hopefully I'll get out there, even if I don't manage to do a vlog where I can speak, I'll get some shots of my head getting blown off and post those in as well. So until then, guys, have a fantastic evening. Looking forward, start my weekend now. That's the positive to finish on. Apologies to all those that have still got to go to work. But until then, just doing it.